Brandon from Zaid Comics, artist and co-creator on Magic Cop, which is on Indiegogo right now, and I'm just one half of the two best-looking brothers in all of comics. And today we're doing another movie poster breakdown where I take you into the design elements and we check out movie posters from a graphic artist's perspective. So let's see what we have today. So we're going to be looking at 2019's Midway that comes out November 8th. 2019. So you can see this is a pretty well-designed poster. It brings in a lot of elements of classic movie poster design with more modern contemporary flair to it. I really like the design of this poster, and there's a couple of other Midway posters, but this one has a lot of graphic design facets to it that we could talk about, and some cool things going on here. So let's check them out. So the first thing here, from a marketing standpoint, get the really nice bold typeface down here showing off the title of your movie, and then we could zoom in and we'll check out what this says here, based on real life events, because obviously Midway is based off of the Battle of Midway from World War II, so people are going to be able to understand that it's a period piece, although surely by looking at the images up here, you're going to understand that it's a period piece just because of the World War II style planes, and the clothing and stuff like that. But we're going to get back to that in a minute. And then up here above this, they put "from the director of Independence Day," which is pretty classic in a type of film where you have a seasoned director or producer or some sort of heavy on a project like this. You might want to say something like that just to let people know. Although this is a type of movie where I feel like it's kind of not that important unless this guy's like really gonna hit it home. Maybe it was in his contract or something like that, that it needed to say that. And then pretty classically down here you have all of this stuff, the producer credits and all the other cool things that go down at the bottom of these posters. But the really fun stuff is here in the center of the poster, because this is where all of your graphic design comes into play. And there is a lot of stuff going on in this poster. Most notably, I think probably the biggest thing that stands out overall is you have the classic border used here on the as a frame. And I really like that because they're not using just white, they're kind of using like this eggshell or like opaque here on the side, and it adds a really nice quality to it that is reminiscent of the era that this movie is set. This is a very old, they still use it a lot now, but I think that it is, in our minds as viewers of these posters, it is a very classic graphic design technique of having this border, especially it being so thick. If we had a thinner border, it would look more of like an indie scene movie or something, more of like a grungy type thing. But it being so thick, it almost is kind of like a war bond poster, or saying something about supporting the cause at the time. They had a lot of propaganda posters, and a lot of them used thick borders like this. And then when the movies came out around that time, and then a little bit later, that design element was being used also, because it was, it's very appealing to the eye, and it does attract people to look at it, and it creates a frame around your image, which is kind of holding everything in and really making you get the sense of like we're pinpointing a moment here in time or like in the movie. And so using the frame along with this time period based clothing, these ships, and like these warplanes and stuff, you're really getting a sense of that this is a period piece, and it's being conveyed really, really well, even just with just the frame here, and then a couple of simple elements here within the poster. So that's really, really nice. They do, however, use a more contemporary spin on it, which is the tactic of breaking out of the frame, which is really cool, and it's a nice use here, because I think that movie viewers now, and then just people, the viewers in general, expect a little bit more from graphics and movies and stuff like that nowadays. And so, by breaking out of the frame, it's kind of giving like a 3D effect to it almost. You have action coming at you. I don't think that this movie's in 3D. It doesn't say it here anywhere on this poster. However, you're kind of getting that sense, and it's bringing that modern spin to a very classic design. And I think that it looks really cool, and it's very appealing to the eye, especially with these high resolution CGI graphics, with the explosions and the planes and everything. You're getting a lot out of this poster simply by breaking through this line here, and then a little bit on this side. And excellent technique. I think they did a phenomenal job here. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the million faces on a poster technique, which is used so much on like really big budget films when you have a lot of actors. As you could see here in this movie specifically, we have a lot of actors that they're trying to showcase. So we have, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actors that need to be on the marquee for this movie. And so, of course, they're going to put as many of these characters on the poster as possible. What they do accomplish here on this poster, which is really nice, is these profile shots. Profile shots are used a lot for creating a sense of personality. You're creating that connection between the emotions of the viewer and the emotions of the character in the movie or on the posters we could see here. It's very easy to convey emotion because you have that unmistakable emotion of the guy looking off into the distance. You could see the curves of his face. You could see how his mouth is being. So it's very, very easy to convey emotion, and it's very easy for the viewer to make a personal connection with somebody who's in profile. We've seen it tons of times before in many posters that we've looked at. You get like that really nice silhouette profile shot, and they're doing it here. In fact, we have it 1, 2, 3, 4. We have it 4 times on here, and there's a lot of people with their emotions conveyed on here too. With these profile shots are being used really, really well, especially up here. How you have your largest character looking off into the distance with his period piece attire. Obviously, he's some sort of airman, and it connects down here to these planes, and it's creating another layer simply by doing that. And your audience that's looking at this poster is able to connect with that and then get a lot of information out of that too. All right, let's see what else we got here. So, of course, it goes without saying at this point, if you guys are a fan of these episodics here that I do, the fire and explosion are the classic sign of destruction and chaos, which I think if you know a little bit about World War II, there was quite a bit of destruction and chaos going on. So we're conveying that here, but I think that it's more of... I don't think that they're using that in the way that you would have something like, the fire and stuff in the background on Zombieland or something like that. I think that this is more of an artistic tool, and showing what's happening here on these aircraft carriers. I think that they're showing kind of a moment in time in the movie instead of trying to convey like a metaphorical message or something like that. I think that this is a literal message being conveyed here about a battle being waged, because Battle of Midway, obviously. But they do a really nice job here because this is a really good way of creating the borderline between the action that's happening down here from the movie, and then you have like these stills of these characters up here coming out of the clouds, and it's a good way of showcasing them. Another good thing up here, we've seen this on movie posters before. It's a very simple tactic. You don't want to put too much noise behind your characters. Something like this here. Let's look at this. This right here is kind of noisy behind this guy, and he has a lot of shine and shadows on his face and stuff like that, and so he can kind of get lost in this noise, especially with his shirt and everything. He kind of almost blends right in, and what they've done to avoid that specifically with this guy is he has a light shirt that's really wrinkly, but they put him on top of these dark clouds that kind of have these wrinkles, which is creating a color contrast, which is creating a border so he doesn't get lost, even though right here there's a little bit of overlap where the colors are so close together that he's getting lost. It's a little busy right here for my taste. However, they take care of that almost on everybody else, as we can see here. Very nice clean line. Very nice clean line here on a lot of these characters' faces. This guy's face, everybody here is in really good contrast with their surroundings, which creates a nice silhouetted shape for the character's face if you're looking at them in profile, which is important up here and here. So that's another smart thing that they've done here on this poster. They've used like solid backgrounds, or like over here, it's almost solid white going into a solid blue, and we have the solid opaque on the side here. So they've done a nice job on that. We have the chaos and action happening here from these falling things, but these are also leading you down from this empty area here, leading you down towards the action. And then we have all these lines happening here, which are leading the eye. It's really good. There's a lot of elements here. These guys that design these movie posters, sometimes they're really cheesy, and sometimes they just go above and beyond. I think that this is a very, very well done poster. There's so many elements of design that go onto here, and it looks like there's a lot of really, really deliberate pieces in here that are making this poster into a really classic movie poster. I could see, like, let's say this poster was made, in the 60s, early 70s and stuff. We would look back on this poster and be like, this is a classic example of what a good movie poster design would be. And it just has all the elements here. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like this poster? I think that it's excellent. Let me know in the comments what would you have changed about it, or let me know if the other Midway posters were more of your style. I just happen to really like this one. What would have been really nice as a side comment on here, if these were paintings instead of photographs. I think that would have made it even more iconic, although it would have made it less modern, but it would have made it more kind of in that classic movie style, especially with all the other design elements they have going on here. Let me know what you guys think. Would you have wanted to see this movie poster painted? I think that would look awesome. And as always, make sure you guys go to zadecomics.com and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you guys could check out my Patreon at patreon.com/ZadeNinja and pledge to help out our cause and our YouTube channel here. And you guys can get some cool weekly artwork sent right to your email box. See you guys next time.